Please bet on football games.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Please Bet on Football Games podcast. I am your host, Alex, here with the on-air talent, Joe. Joe, how is it going today?
I don't want to jinx anything, but I've almost lost interest in watching football because I know what's going to happen before the kickoff. I wish I were joking, but a lot of these games, I'm getting to halftime while I chart, and I'm like, can we just fucking get this over with so I can stop charting because I know?
It was another good week. I know you personally had a hell of a week.
Damn that live bet for $1,000 on Tennessee ruining my perfect week.
Yeah, we can't bet on them.
Well, certainly not anymore, but we'll get to that later.
But let's talk about the pod picks, which, what is that, 8 weeks in a row winning.
Yes.
We won 5.8 units. We won 85.7% of our bets. That takes us up to, I know it's 15 and change. We'll get the exact number right now. 15.24 units. We are up to a win percentage of 52.6 and a 12% ROI.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, on the year.
That's pretty goddamn good.
Yep. It's kind of crazy. I was thinking about it when I was getting home from work. I was like, it's really nuts that this year has turned out like it has. And we've now won 8 straight weeks. And we won almost 6 units last week.
Yeah, I was going through my old Patreon posts because I like to unlock them after, like, my Patreon posts with my picks. After the games end, I like to make them public so that people can go back and see, like, oh, timestamped, Joe did make these picks he's saying he made. Like, there's no way for me to mess with that. And I was just going back and making sure they were all public, and I saw my week 7 post. And weeks 5 and 7, I went over. Like, I lost every single bet week 5, broke even week 6, and then lost every single bet week 7.
Mm-hmm.
And on my week 8 picks, which was the first week of this giant streak, I rarely put a caption, but the caption underneath the picks was, another over week. This is the worst season of my entire life. I don't know. At this point, maybe you should just fade me. And then we have not stopped winning at exorbitant rates since. Yeah, I think we're up like 28 units since then.
I could do the math real quick.
It is up 36 units since week 8 on the Patreon.
29.3, roughly. I was doing a little bit of rounding there, but...
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty good. We should stop gloating and actually talk about the bets, though.
Yeah, we should. Even though that's still going to be gloating. First up, on Thursday night, we had the Los Angeles Rams over the San Francisco 49ers. We had them +3 for 1 unit. They won.
For privacy reasons, we do not publish the video of us making this podcast, but if they could, they would see me very sassily taking a sip from my bottle of water in a large straw. Fucking told you.
It looks hot.
It does look hot. There are some stories from college in my use of straws. Get a lot of attention. I don't like drinks in my mustache. Anyway, the 49ers are exactly what we thought they were going to be. We said, this season's kind of broken. Brock Purdy really sucks in weather. Their team is lacking the playmakers that made them in the past, and it kind of feels like they've fallen apart. And Brock Purdy was terrible in the rain. And one of their linebackers straight up quit in the middle of the game.
It's insane.
Deebo Samuel is legitimately fat and bad, can't catch a ball even. The 49ers are in complete disarray to the point where some people are even talking about getting rid of Kyle Shanahan. As a fan of anything besides San Francisco, please do. I would love for everything in that area to be terrible. Yeah, I think we deserve to win that bet, and if I could go back in time, I'd put 85 units on it rather than just 1.
Yep. Yeah, I think we definitely deserve that one. Felt clean, like a lot of this week did.
Dude, Matt Stafford played like utter dog shit, and we still pretty cleanly won.
Yeah, it was strange, but I welcome it, and the confidence is getting concerningly high.
Yes.
So let's knock it down with our one loss of the week. We had the Miami Dolphins over the Houston Texans +3. That was a 1 unit bet. I think they lost by 2 scores.
They lost by 8.
Okay.
And it was a game until the very end. I saw a stat today. Houston had 186 yards in that game of total offense. That's the lowest amount of total offense by any winning team in like several years. Our handicap of CJ Stroud was correct. Our handicap of the Dolphins defense was correct. Our handicap of the Dolphins offensive scheme working was correct. We just look, I've long said that Tua's not one of the 30 best quarterbacks on earth. Fuck, I'm not sure he's top 50. And if I had to bet, I'd say he wasn't. But man, anytime they play a team that's even remotely competent or athletic, it is hard not to notice that like one of these guys does not belong in this league. He's a high school quarterback. He's a good high school quarterback. He's a brilliant high school quarterback. But that's all he is. He's tiny. He's slow. He's got a weak arm. He shouldn't be here. And Dolphins fans are going to fire a top 5 coach in the world because they're so committed to the idea that this psychopath is a good quarterback. I call him a psychopath because he won't stop trying to concuss himself and his teammates.
Yeah, was it you that tweeted about it? That was like, he is the concussion creator?
Yes, he is single-handedly keeping Will Smith from that one movie in business because he's concussing himself. He's concussing his wide receivers. He's concussing defenders as they bend over backwards to not concuss him. He's the concussion king. Guardian Caps needs to send him like the biggest thank you note, almost as big as their caps.
Those things look hilarious. I love them so much, especially when you have like a little running back or receiver.
Yeah,
and
no
they're just flying around with their giant hats. They look like those like giant baseball hats.
They always remind me of in Spaceballs.
That's better.
And like, no shade to anybody who wears one. I get it. Who gives a fuck if you look a little dorky, especially if you're like an offensive lineman who's never getting endorsements anyway. Fuck it. If it helps like 1%, who cares? 1%'s nice. But at the same time, right? Like, come on. That's pretty funny.
They do look hilarious.
On the topic of the actual bet, on one hand, we handicapped everything perfectly except for Tua. And on one hand, it's really hard to account for a quarterback throwing 4 interceptions in one game that you lose by 1 touchdown. However, we did bet on Tua. Yep. And at a certain point, when you're running as hot as we are, sometimes you got to just say we were wrong because otherwise it gets boring.
Yeah, no, I mean, we bet on Tua against a good defense.
Yeah.
It was a mistake.
Derek Stingley led the Dolphins in receptions. I think he had 3 picks.
He played great, but yeah, Tua was bad. We deserve that loss. Let's move on.
Yep.
Next, we had Buffalo over Detroit. We took the money line, which it was 1 unit, but that was plus 125 because I believe they were a +3 dog.
+2. But could I have handicapped this any better? I literally said I don't think Buffalo's getting a stop all day, but it's going to be a track meet. It's going to be a ridiculously high-scoring game, and with volume, you trust the better quarterback because you can only scheme things for Goff so many times, but Josh Allen is eternal. That's exactly what happened. Josh Allen just was real, and Goff was not. And Goff actually made like 3 of the best throws he's ever made in this game. Like the 55-yard bomb to Jameson Williams is the longest and most accurate deep ball I've ever seen Jared Goff throw in 6 years. That's not a joke. It's not meant to be funny. That is a straight up fact. And it was a really great throw. And then it was not caught.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say about that game. We kind of already said everything that was going to happen. You predicted it pretty perfectly. Josh Allen's insane, and the Lions defense doesn't exist anymore. No. They are purely theoretical.
Yep. Their bad corners are now injured too, so it's going to get real rough. They're I don't know if they're going to win a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, they can't stop anyone.
Yeah.
But next up, we had Tampa Bay over the Los Angeles Chargers. We had them +3. It was our best bet, so it was a 2-unit bet. They won comfortably. Great bet.
Yeah, I don't know how they scored 40 points too, because PFF says Baker Mayfield played like an average starter.
It's insane.
He only had 1 good throw. That time when he was rolling to the left and threw a 30-yard strike to Mike Evans that turned into a 57-yard touchdown, that was not good. It didn't count. Baker was friggin' incredible. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I think Josh Allen will win MVP and absolutely deserves it, but I don't think he's been as good as Baker this year. Baker's unreal. Jalen McMillan is starting to look like a NFL receiver a little bit. Not a good one, but like one who belongs. He didn't drop balls at him in the face. He even had one nice catch that like maybe Baker should have let him a little bit more on. So keep an eye out. That is a huge development. Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman are an absolute travesty. What they are doing to Justin Herbert is not fair, nor is it fun. It's a Todd Bowles defense. I've told people all year how to beat it. The Falcons put it on tape twice. Just run curls to the middle, run mesh, just get people over the middle of the field because there will be no linebackers there because they're blitzing constantly. And the Chargers never once did it. They never put people over the middle of the field for dump offs and yak. Never. Kept on trying to throw outside, kept on trying to run into a blitz, like just dumb shit. The Chargers are really poorly coached and Justin Herbert is hurt. And when he's hurt, he can't be fucking insane. And if Justin Herbert's not on a legendary level, they have no chance, which is why you'll remember in the off season when we were doing the season projections, I said, people are going to tell me that Jim Harbaugh has the Chargers turned around, and then we're going to look up at the end of the season, and they're going to be about 500, maybe 9-8. They're currently 8-6, and they got 2 tough games left. They're going to end up with 8 or 9 wins. Like, they might get to 10, in which case I'm off by a game. I think that's something to celebrate. Fun fact, you might not notice because the Chargers do have a winning record. Despite Justin Herbert, who's having a legitimate MVP caliber season in his own right, they are 20th in the league in scoring on offense.
Yeah, because they're poorly coached.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Bears fans will not shut up about how if we had just gotten Jim Harbaugh, everything would be different. No, it wouldn't. We'd have a bottom 5 offense. I digress.
Yeah, I think we kind of nailed that one. The only mistake we made was not putting more units on it. Good bet.
Great bet.
Went how we thought it would. Well, even better than we thought it would because Harbaugh is so incompetent, and also Herbert really got hurt towards the end of that first half, and it went from like, okay, this is a close game, to okay, this is pretty comfy.
Yeah.
Moving on. Our last of our 5 picks, we had Atlanta over Vegas -4. That was a 1-unit bet. They won.
Yeah, despite Kirk Cousins playing like utter dog shit, despite settling for field goals when there was no need to, missing open throws, a game that the Falcons dominated all game, but never got anything to show for it. Despite all that, and despite Desmond Ridder trying, kind of, to lead a last-second comeback, kind of, we got the pretty clear cover. And I think that we got about as unlucky as we could have expected to, and we still covered pretty easily. That's a fair win in my book.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Atlanta obviously is a flawed team, but Vegas is just a mess. And that's what it looked like. It looked like a decent, flawed team against a very bad one.
Yeah, like the Raiders are in a class of their own where they should not be, they should catch at least 6 in every game, barring weather.
It worked out for us, so I'm not going to complain. On to our bonus bets. We had 2 bonus bets. One was Green Bay over Seattle, -2.5, cashed, clean. You nailed it. Because if we run back the tape, I was tempted on Seattle. So well done.
I mean, it was, what did I say? Like, the reason that Mike McDonald is good against Shanahan offenses is because he stops the run. But Green Bay is a different animal because they have a power run. And Josh Jacobs barreled over the Seahawks all game. You could see from like the first snap, that was the Packers' plan. We're going to power run over that ass. And they did. It was perfect. It also helped that Geno Smith got hurt, although the game was probably about over by then anyway. Sam Howell came in and looked completely and totally overwhelmed. And frankly, that was pretty disappointing. Like, it made me rethink my take on Howell entirely. But game was over at that point anyway. I don't think that taints our bet.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was clean. I don't really think Geno getting hurt matters that much with how well Green Bay played. On to our last bet. We had Minnesota and Atlanta money line, 1-unit bet, even odds. Minnesota won. They beat the shit out of the bad Chicago Bears.
Couldn't have been cleaner. The Bears are not an NFL team right now.
Yeah, good bet.
Yep.
And moving on to week 16.
16.
Crazy.
We're running out of opportunities. Our win streak must necessarily end.
No, it could just continue into next year.
True. Never mind. It will never end. Everything will always be great. Knock on the wood.
I already did. I did it as soon as you started talking. Anyway, Thursday night, we have the Denver Broncos going to play the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are -2.5.
Tough. See, typically for longtime listeners, you know that our philosophy is fuck it. Under 3, it's basically money line. Pick the winner. But this is a flawed offense in the Broncos versus a flawed coaching staff in the Chargers, which signals to me lots of field goals, right? Because the Broncos are screwed. They have a terrible quarterback, but they have a really good coach and they have good enough players that they move the ball plenty between the 20s. Field goals. And then the Chargers have a really terrible coaching staff and really terrible receivers, but a decent enough offensive line and, much more importantly, an excellent quarterback. Field goals. And when you have a field goal game, one team gets a touchdown, the other gets 2 field goals. All of a sudden, it lands on 2 instead of 3, and your 2.5 fucks you right where it hurts, the mouth. So I don't like Chargers minus 2.5 much. I would accept it if I knew Justin Herbert was healthy, but his ankle is still bothering him. Apparently the thigh contusion that kept him out of the Buccaneers game, that's all cleared up, but the ankle that he hurt against the Chiefs is still bothering him. That's tough. If you could promise me that Justin Herbert's going to play like regular Justin Herbert and be like healthy, I think I take the Chargers. But as it stands, it's not so easy.
No, I don't want to take the Chargers because we don't know what Herbert's like. And even if he is healthy-ish to start the game, it might be the exact same thing from last week where he plays well for a half and then he gets tackled or something happens and he tweaks his ankle and he can't do anything. And if he's not healthy, their offense doesn't really move.
Yep. No, I mean, that's exactly. And you're playing against a really good defense, a legitimately good defense. It's very well coordinated and has the players to like back it up, right? It's not bullshit. Patrick Surtain's a very good corner. Nick Bones Benito, finally. I told you like 3 years ago that this dude had excellent pass rushing potential and he's finally showing it. This Broncos defense is legitimately decent, legitimately solid. And then on the other side of the ball, see, this is what makes me not like the 2.5. I don't want to lay points. It's going to be low scoring. The Broncos will milk production. They will squeeze production out of this turn-up. But the Chargers defense is also legitimately good. Mm-hmm. If you told me this game ends 17-15 Chargers, I would say that sounds precisely correct.
I think there might be too many points in that hypothetical.
I mean, it could be, it can't be 14-12 because both teams are going to kick at least a field goal. Like, I could legitimately see 5-6 field goals in this game. So I do lean to the Chargers, and it's another terrible slate. So we might have to take them because we're getting to that stage in the season where like half the games don't fucking matter. But for now, it's a maybe pile.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't want to bet on that one, but let's move on to Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Wow. My weekend's going to rule.
Yeah. First up at noon, we have the Houston Texans going to play the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are minus 3.5.
Ooh. So a lot of people ask, like, why would I follow the Patreon and pay $10 a month when I can listen to the podcast for free? Here's a great example of why. On the Patreon, Monday night, I told you, go bet on the Chiefs because the line could really move if Patrick Mahomes plays. And if Carson Wentz plays, I still really like the bet.
Yep.
Well, it looks like Patrick Mahomes is going to play, and this line went from Chiefs +1, or in my case,
it opened at +2.
Yeah, I got Chiefs +130 on the money line, personally. But now it's all the way down to like -160 for the Chiefs money line and -3.5 on the spread. At 3.5, I kind of don't like it. I kind of like the Texans.
At 3.5, I don't think you can bet on Kansas City.
Never. I mean, like Kansas City for years, it's like a running joke. Like if they're laying 3 or less, bet them. If they're laying more than 3, they always lose, like notoriously. And I think that's more appropriate this year than any. Like Patrick Mahomes has been downright fucking bad this year. And he's going against a team that A, rushes the passer really well, B, has excellent linebackers that can actually like spy and run with Patrick Mahomes and prevent him from getting all those cheap bullshit yards he gets on the ground. And C, they have the secondary pieces to legitimately cover his receivers. Like Derek Stingley's one of the few guys who can run with Xavier Worthy deep. Granted, Patrick Mahomes can't hit a deep shot anyway, but even if he could, I think it's Kamari Lassiter Lassiter, the guy out of Georgia. Big dude, fast, not very quick. Kamari, yes, I nailed it. I love Kamari Lassiter on Nuke Hopkins because he's bigger than Nuke Hopkins and he's faster than Nuke Hopkins, and neither of them are very quick anymore, so it doesn't matter that Kamari Lassiter's got a deficiency there. It's a perfect matchup. So I think the Texans match up pretty well, but the reason I don't want to bet on the Texans is because CJ Stroud fucking sucks. He's terrible.
It's crazy.
And I fucking told people. And last year, when I said CJ Stroud's a bad prospect, he is a bridge quarterback. He is mobile Teddy Bridgewater. There's not a lot of great to him. And then he puts up some decent stats in a Shanahan offense in his rookie year with excellent receivers, and people are saying, you were wrong on CJ Stroud. Admit you were wrong. Well, I watched the fucking games, and he panned out exactly what I thought it was going to look like.
I mean, I think any young quarterback, you got to see him play for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Before you can truly like get a baseline for him.
Before you can dunk.
Yeah. But we're definitely getting to that point, especially after last year. I mean, I even started to buy in where I thought it was just some of that same type of Burrow thing where it's like they just process and have good accuracy and they're so consistent with their accuracy that they're going to be able to get away with not actually having that good of an arm or being that good at any one thing.
And I remember that because I remember you saying, like, he's kind of got that Burrow factor to him, and I wanted to be mad at you, but I couldn't because, like, that's what a lot of people, like, I think Nate Tice had him in his top 5 quarterbacks coming into the year. Like, that was
people were very excited.
It was a pretty common take. So when you're like, I think he's a pretty average starter, I think he can do this, I'm like, well, I'm not going to argue with you because I'm not in a position to argue right now, but it's panned out that he's the 2.2 that I said he would be. Like, he is a below average starting quarterback. The big problem really for me is that accuracy, that ball placement merchant that he fucking says he is. He's not accurate.
Yeah.
At all. And the other thing that's fun, and I brought this up when I scouted him originally, one of the very first draft videos I ever made on my YouTube, I said, people think that CJ Stroud figured out how to handle pressure and play make against Georgia, but when you watch it, literally all he does is the exact same escape move where he runs to his left and then loops back around to his right, and then he throws the ball up to Marvin Harrison. Every single time, it's the exact same thing. He runs that same, ironically, it's the same escape move that Mac Jones runs and Russell Wilson used to run, where you just kind of run left and do a wide hooking circle and come back to your right, and then he floats the ball to Marvin Harrison. And you can't do that all the time. And in his rookie year, it worked, and now it's not working. So I think people have caught on to his ability to extend plays. I think his accuracy is poor, and while Nico Collins is awesome, he's not as awesome as Marvin Harrison versus Purdue. And like, don't get me wrong, their offensive line's got some problems, but it's still fine. Like, it's okay. Yeah, no, I don't like either of these teams. I think they're both severely overrated. And if I had to pick a side, I'd probably pick KC, but that's more fading Houston than liking KC.
Yeah, I'm same boat. If you made me pick one, I'd go Kansas City just because maybe they win by 4. And Houston might give them some points on offense.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to bet on it. Let's talk about our next Saturday game. And at 3:30 on Saturday, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers going to play the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are -6.
Well, Mr. AFC North, do you have takes?
That feels like a big number.
I agree.
For Pittsburgh, who, like, yeah, they've been losing and they haven't looked as good lately. But that's mostly just because George Pickens isn't playing.
That's exclusively because George Pickens isn't playing. He's their offense.
Is he playing this week?
That's a great question that we can find the answer to.
Because he's been out, 2 weeks now?
He's fucking questionable.
Because that's probably what this bet hinges on. If George Pickens plays, I think I like the Steelers.
I'm not far off from that.
Because it's 6 division game. They're fighting for first place in the division. I think it's going to be a close game, especially because the Pittsburgh, I mean, we talked about this. It happened last time they played earlier this season. Pittsburgh knows how to play Lamar.
Yeah.
Like, they have it down to a T, and they frustrate and confuse the hell out of him. I don't know. And they're catching 6. Like, again, I know they haven't been playing well, but I think it's pretty much completely because George Pickens is the difference maker in their offense.
No, their entire offense, and we said it like the second game Russ played. Their offense with George Pickens in is how many deep balls to George Pickens does Russ complete? Because every one of them is worth 3 points. Because their entire offense, like there was one game, Russell Wilson hit 2 deep balls, both to Pickens, both for like 40 yards. One was a touchdown, one resulted in a field goal. On 9 deep attempts. 7 of which were to George Pickens. Like, their offense is very explicitly, very exclusively, can Russell Wilson hit George Pickens deep? And now listen, that's a pretty good way to handle a very limited quarterback who can only do one thing decently. I support it. I think it's the right move. But it's not very sustainable. And it looks like George Pickens is not playing because he did not practice again today. I mean, if you're not practicing on Wednesday, even if you play Saturday, you're not right.
Yeah, I don't know then. Shit.
And we've seen it. Like, without George Pickens, they can't do anything. This is why I love it. Sorry, I'm watching hockey. Today I went on a little bit of a crusade about terrible coaches who don't deserve to be employed. And Mike Vrabel is one of them. And people were coming to his defense saying, he hires great offensive coordinators. I was like, I'll give you Matt LaFleur. Great hire. I didn't really like him very much at the time because I thought he ran the ball too much, but I wasn't familiar with the Shanahan offense's efficiency yet. I was also in college. Then people are talking about Arthur Smith being a great offensive coordinator. I was like, wait. Why? And they're like, well, it didn't work out in Atlanta when he was a head coach, but look now. Now, he's the offensive coordinator of the Steelers and they're 10-4. To which I ask, so the fuck what? Matt Canada went 10-4 with the Steelers multiple times. I think at one time Matt Canada was 11-0 as the offensive coordinator of the Steelers. And if it wasn't him, it was Todd fucking Haley. So, don't hit me with offensive coordinator wins, please. That's real fucking ridiculous. His entire offense is throw deep to George Pickens, and they can't do that right now. And they got Mike Williams, but it doesn't seem like he's ready to take on that load. He's also just not George Pickens, the best ball winner in the NFL.
Yep.
The Ravens are going to be high and mighty after beating the living shit out of the JV Giants. Lamar stands were like, how could you say that Josh Allen's the MVP when Lamar did this today? Because Lamar did it to you and me. Who cares? Giants dropped 2 picks. I think that also matters. So Lamar won't do shit. Henry won't do shit. But it only takes 1 or 2 busted plays to score 14 points, and that puts this game in barely in reach for the Steelers. But at the same time, it's Tomlin in a divisional game in December. I could fucking see the Steelers pulling this one out in money line. Like, I don't know. It's bullshit. This is a bullshit team versus a bullshit team.
Yeah, I mean, this does feel like kind of where the Steelers start fading, though. Because they do this a lot of years, right? Where they do come in and go, this team's going to win 7 games, and then they win 6 of their first 8 or 9, and you go, oh my God, this team's going to be a Super Bowl contender. And then in the last 4 weeks of the year, they don't win a game.
Dude, this game is for the division. Whoever wins this probably wins the division.
So then it might be, who do we think's better? It's Baltimore.
But does Baltimore run the score up? I don't know if they can.
I don't think they can.
Good.
I think 6 is a good number. I don't love it because Pickens probably isn't playing. And that now makes it very hard for Pittsburgh to score.
And it'd be very easy to say, well, you gotta lay 6 because the Ravens are about as good on offense at least as Philly is, and Philly just blew them out last week. Well, first of all, the Steelers are aware that they got blown out last week. They'll be bringing their A game. They will be, up for this one. They will be making changes because they saw how they got exploited. The other thing is, every week that goes by, Mike Williams gets one more chance to understand the offense and, replace George Pickens to some extent. And while Mike Evans ain't that great, he's not George Pickens, he's an awesome ball winner in his own right. And it only takes 2 deep shots to work. So I don't know. And I don't fucking fuck this. You throw out the record books when these teams play and you don't lay fucking 6. That's the fucking thing.
Yeah. I mean, my thing just comes down to, I think +6 in what I expect to be a close game because it's 2 pretty good teams for the division in December. But we can put it on the maybe pile. I'm ready to rip it at +6, if only because we got to pick games at a certain point.
Pittsburgh +6 makes the maybe pile.
All right, now on to Sunday.
We're going to first up fly through some of these.
Yeah, first up in the 12 o'clock hour, we have the New York Giants going to play the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are -8.5.
With a bad rookie quarterback making his first start. And you know what? They're a leg because the Giants can't complete passes.
It's insane.
What's insane to me, what happened to Drew Lock? how is he this? How is he so bad that he can't fucking play over this? How is it so bad that he couldn't complete a pass a couple weeks? Like, we've talked too much about this game.
I agree. Leg, and that's it. Moving on. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals going to play the Carolina Panthers. The Cardinals are minus 4.5.
Here's a real quote from Kyler Murray today. I've played in the cold before. How cold is it supposed to be? 20 degrees? Shit, that's cold.
I thought it was like 30.
Regardless, whatever temperature it is supposed to be on Sunday at noon, Kyler Murray is not prepared for it. This is bad. So bad. Okay, so Bryce Young's not like the true fucking war crime that he was for the first 20 games of his career, but he's still a bad quarterback, like a bad one. It's still not a good roster, but like the fucking Cardinals suck too, dude. Like, okay, here's the fucking litmus test. The Cardinals only beat teams whose defenses are so unathletic that Kyler Murray can just run around and do whatever the fuck he wants. And by God, I think he's playing another one. This is a very unathletic defensive line. A 34-year-old Jadeveon Clowney is the best athlete on the defense.
It's a tough one because, I mean, the Cardinals did just beat up on the Patriots, who are a bad team.
Woo!
Right, but then you go to Carolina, who's a bad team that has nothing to fight for and is completely rebuilding. So they might be able to do the same thing. Plus, I mean, Carolina just got shit on by Dallas. Like Dallas in their current state.
Yeah.
So I think Arizona might be the look, but it's 4.5. I don't want to touch this game.
I don't want to fucking touch this game, and all the fucking bets are on Arizona as well. Like, it's a square side. I hate betting on Kyler Murray. Please, dear God, give us a few games that are handicapable.
Yeah, please. Next up in the 12 o'clock hour, we have the Detroit Lions going to play the Chicago Bears. The Lions are minus 6.5.
There's a leg. Can you think of any reason whatsoever to bet on the Bears? And don't say all of the Lions defenders are hurt, because that does not matter.
I mean, that's the only reason that I wouldn't bet on the Lions. I don't think there's any reason to bet on the Bears, but the Lions, I would be a little scared just because they have no defense. Now, it helps that the Bears' offense is as anemic as it could be, but it's a touchdown in what I assume will be cold weather on the lake. Throwing's probably going to be a little tough.
Oh, it's going to suck. It's going to be shit outside. It was really nice this past weekend, and that's how you know it's going to be raining in 35, baby. I'll tell you exactly what the weather will be.
Go stick your hand outside.
Well, right now it's 27, and up here it's probably about 15. On Sunday, it'll be 30, and there may be some snow left over from the night prior. We're getting our grapple, our snow and rain combination on Monday when it'll be exactly 34, which is just warm enough to really fuck you right in the mouth. I do love it here, though. I swear to God I do. Tough game. Who's worse in the bad weather? Jared Goff, known for being bad in the bad weather, or Caleb Williams, known for just generally being soft in every way?
I don't know.
Next game.
Yeah, I think next game.
No!
Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns going to play the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are minus 7.5.
Who wants this? By the way, it's DTR starting for the Browns. No more Jameis. So we don't even have like the fun upside. It's just a pure guarantee that the Browns do nothing on offense.
I don't know if they're going to score.
They're not.
Like, I'm being completely serious. They might get shut out.
You know what? You ever watch Magic School Bus?
Yeah.
There was an episode of the Magic School Bus where they went to space and there's no friction. And like they were on this like ice rink, except it wasn't an ice rink. It was just glass and there was no friction. And they thought it was fun until they realized they couldn't stop because there was no friction. That's playing the Bengals defense. It's true that the Browns probably shouldn't score or even move the ball, but you don't have to do much to move the ball a lot when there's no friction.
DTR is so bad. They don't have a running back.
DTR is kind of like if Deshaun Watson were 10 years older physically with none of the benefit of experience. Like weaker arm, slower, not as strong, but also just as dumb. Chris Sims had DTR ranked as like the fourth best quarterback in that draft. Had like a second round grade on him.
Good job, Chris Sims.
Good stuff, Chris Sims. Yeah, dude, this is fucking bad. I think the Bengals are gonna win, and I never think the Bengals are gonna win.
They absolutely better win.
Buried in the Titans game last week is Joe Burrow threw another 2 pickables and fumbled yet again. Another 3 turnover game we don't talk about. Second rated quarterback by PFF, because why do you have to watch the football games when you can just say that guy has like cool tweets or something?
I don't know. I don't want to bet on that game.
No, I'm not betting on that game out of principle. I think that the state of Ohio needs to answer for its crimes, and I will not be satisfied until it does.
You know, that fair enough.
There's only war crimes on this slate. This slate is terrible.
We have the Tennessee Titans going to play the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are -3.5.
So the reason I mentioned war crimes, we have the anemic, extremely bad Titans. They're coached like shit. Brian Callahan's throwing everybody under the bus that he can, and then giving impassioned Brett Kavanaugh-esque "the lady doth protest too much" speeches about how his team is certainly not soft and how dare you call them that when they just are. Like, I'm pretty sure if I shoved one of their offensive linemen at a bar, A, they'd fall over because they're very used to it, and B, they wouldn't mind because they're so used to it. It's not true. They'd all kill me. They could probably eat me alive. But still, the point remains, they're terrible at football. J.C. Latham is at the point where I'm not sure he's a good guard anymore. And he's probably their second best offensive lineman. No, he's certainly their second best offensive lineman. It's a pretty wide margin. Nick Petit-Frere, somebody put him in front of a mirror because he might not exist in a corporeal form. He could be a ghost. I'm not sure if he's wearing a blue uniform or if he's just one of those blue holographs from Star Wars telling us that Obi-Wan is our only hope. Dylan Radins looks like he played at North Dakota State. Take that for what you will. And Daniel Brunskill is a consummate backup. That's their entire right side. All of those are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They're going against DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. Get fucked, buddy. You're ruined. Like, DeForest Buckner is not the guy you want to go against when you have offensive linemen you're not sure exist. Because he's not going to sack you a lot, but he's just going to literally shove offensive guards into your quarterback, and you can't run on him. And then on the other side, yeah, you got J.C. Latham. I think he could be a mediocre right guard. And you got Peter Skoronski, who's a mediocre left guard. That's not good. So, like, the weakness of the Colts defense is that their defensive line kind of sucks ass. And it's going to dominate the Tennessee offensive line. And then the other, like, qualm that you might have with the Colts defense is, like, their secondary is a lot of very mediocre guys. I present you Nick Westbrook-Akine. I present you Calvin Ridley, who evidently stopped caring 3 weeks ago. Chig Okonkwo, who I swear to God I thought was a Star Wars character, is probably their best outlet. So if Mason Rudolph and the Titans score 17 points, I will go streaking on Michigan Avenue in Chicago within the next week.
I'm going to hold you to that too.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to the good part of Michigan Avenue. I'm going around the corner in Gold Coast where there is nobody but olds, but I'll do it.
Sure.
And I'm going to do it for like 5 seconds, but I will absolutely do it. I've done it for fun.
It'll be
not
so
here
cold.
in Boston, but still. Never ask Stalin about the first time we went home together and she had to force me to put my pants on the entire time. While I was dressed as Tyrone Biggums without any makeup. No blackface, but also no sweatpants.
Honestly, I think that's more true to the character of Tyrone Biggums.
Extremely. I was method. Other side of the ball, the Titans win on defense with a great defensive line, but that defensive line doesn't really give a fuck anymore. And the Colts offensive line is very quietly one of the very best in the league, so they'll be able to handle it. Elite receivers for the Colts. I fucking love them. Josh Downs rules. Alec Pierce rules. Pittman's decent. And fuck, A.D. Mitchell's going to be really good. The question is, can Anthony Richardson look like he's thrown a football before? It's to the point where you have to question his dad. Why did you never play catch with your son? Then you have to question, like, the hundreds of people that work in the NFL and NFL media who somehow saw a guy that couldn't complete a pass in high school or college and said, no. We should give that guy $15 million to complete a pass. He can't. He showed you he can't. But what if he could? And suddenly, as I'm trying to convince myself that there's a reason to bet on the Colts here, I see exactly what all those fucking idiots saw in Anthony Richardson. And it's the same thing that I often see in Todd Bowles. The general motivating thought of, it can't be that bad. He's an adult human. He certainly can, like, feed himself or tie his shoes, but they can't, and they never do. Stop expecting them to perform basic human functions. They're not that caliber of human. It happens. We live on a bell curve, and somebody's got to fit at that leftmost edge.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, Anthony Richardson, he's the only issue we have because
Did you watch? You didn't, but like, did you watch any of his game last week?
I saw bits and pieces.
If I'm an Indianapolis Colt, I am marching into the front office Rudy style and putting my jersey on the desk, not to say I need Anthony Richardson to play or Anthony Richardson to be benched, but to say, just cut me. I can't do this. I can't watch Shane Steichen, a brilliant offensive mind, just be wasted on a guy who, like, probably couldn't pitch in Little League for fear of hurting his teammates. Not the batter, his teammates. Because he's going to hit the dugout. I'm fairly certain that I could complete passes in the NFL better than Anthony Richardson because I at least know where the ball's going. It's going slow. Everybody else knows where it's going, but fuck, it's going to come near a receiver.
I think if I tried to throw any football in the National Football League, it would get picked off at the defensive line.
I'd get picked off a lot, but I can complete a 5-yard curl sometimes. If I anticipate it real good, I can do it. And you can too. I've played catch with you. You're more accurate than Anthony Richardson.
It's a horrible thought.
You got about 50 fewer yards on your long ball, but that puts you right in line with Mac Jones. This game sucks. This entire fucking week sucks. I hate this slate. That's why I'm being funny, because I have no good thoughts to give you guys. All of the money's on Tennessee, but I think that that's just misguided hope that Mason Rudolph will be better than Will Levis, and I think that Will Levis is the only reason that the Titans have been close in some of these games. I think it's that bad, and I think that Brian Callahan's legitimately facing being fired, because why else would he throw people under the bus so violently today?
Yeah, that's not a good sign. I mean, I think Mason Rudolph, he definitely raises the floor because
we've played this game before though. Like,
yeah.
He played 3 games this year, and they did nothing. Because, yes, he's not going to turn the ball over in the crazy ways. He's not going to throw the pick sixes. But you know what else he's not going to do? Get you a first down.
I was going to say, so he's just a neutralizing zero.
Yeah, and by the way, that's no shade at Mason Rudolph, a man who's had a winning record as a starter in the NFL before. Like, he's a good backup. But this is a Titans team with no offensive line, bad receivers, a bad head coach, and no hope. Yeah. So, like, what the fuck is he supposed to do? I'm not sure Drake May could save this team.
No, I think that's very fair. They're horrible. That's why I think 3.5 isn't that bad for Indy.
It's not, but Anthony Richardson is cock.
Yeah, and we just did this with Tua.
He's uncircumcised, sweaty cock. I can't bet it. I cannot bet on, it's not even maybe pop. I just can't bet on Anthony Richardson next game. We
have the Los Angeles Rams going to play the New York Jets. The Rams are -3.
All right, so I have a fucking question. Why? Like, what am I missing? How is this not the best bet?
Who's hurt? What's going on?
Rams players that are hurt are John Johnson III, who's been on IR. We already knew that. Somebody named N. Hampton, who I don't know, and Troy Reader, who's a decent linebacker who's on IR. Not even decent. Replacement. Meanwhile, the Jets might not have Elijah Vera Tucker, who's probably their best offensive lineman. They might not have Quinnen Williams. I mean, I
have no idea.
The Rams are, apparently the money's coming in on the Jets, but they're fucking wrong. The Rams are the bet.
Or is it, it's going to be cold, but it's supposed to be sunny. I was going to say, is there a hurricane that's hitting New Jersey?
It may be cold, but Puka Nacua played at BYU in Utah.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Matt Stafford played in the cold all throughout his career. Like, they're going to be fine. Cooper Kupp's from Washington. Like, they can handle the cold.
Yeah, I'm fine with making this the likely best bet. Like, we've watched the Jets play this year, and we've watched the Rams play this year. Yeah, and the Rams are coming off a mini bye.
This is a gigantic caliber mismatch.
I'm confused.
Clearly bet on the Rams. I think that people are thinking, like, the Rams won last week but didn't deserve to.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't.
The Jets are worse.
Yeah, I like if Matt Stafford plays a D- game again like he did last week, okay, yeah, the Rams might lose. That's a fair line. But Matt Stafford is not going to play another D- game. He'll probably play an A game. And you're going to have Jared Verse going against two questionable offensive tackles. I like this. And then Aaron Rodgers, who can't care. There's just no way he fucking cares.
He's talking about vaccine stuff still on ESPN.
Is he really?
Yeah, it's 20. He said something about like, oh, if you're a hater, like, show me your vaccine status, and I'll know whether that I can stop paying attention to you, or it's just like something dumb like that. It's like, dude, it's almost 2025.
So basically, he's
Get
saying
over
like,
it.
if you think Aaron Rodgers is a douchebag and a blowhard, that it's probably because you disagree with him on the vax. Hey, Aaron Rodgers, I thought you were a fake blowhard before COVID happened. I thought it only exposed further what you obviously always were.
It's just like, let it go, man. It's been so long.
Do people really fucking still care that he lied about getting vaccinated? Like, personally,
No,
I never gave a shit to
they do.
begin with, but
who cares? Rams 3 units.
we're not going there yet. But yeah, no, Rams are our first. I have 4 columns when we do this pod. Maybe, legs, bets, and parlays. Rams are already in the bet category. They're going on the board.
Definitely.
This is just a bad line. It's just a really bad line.
Next up, to close out the 12 o'clock hour, we have the Philadelphia Eagles going to play the Washington Commanders. The Eagles are minus 3.5.
Ooh, dude, I think that the Eagles might crush them.
I think so too.
It's kind of funny because the Eagles defense is being asked to really show their range this month. Last week, they were asked to stop a defense that can only throw deep. And this week, they're being asked to stop a defense that can only throw screens. Jaden Daniels stands were on me again last weekend. Like, oh, great Jaden Daniels. He was awesome. Nothing happens in this offense. First of all, they play the Saints and they beat the Saints by 1 fucking point with Jake Haener.
Yeah.
1 fucking point.
Well, it's because the refs gave the Saints an extra touchdown.
You should have never come to that.
I know.
What the fuck? So that's ridiculous. For the first time in a few weeks, Terry McLaurin's actually playing against a cornerback who can run with him in Quinyon Mitchell. That'll be fun. Additionally, Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, these are all dudes who can come up and tackle. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Reed Rodrigo Blankenship, these are all dudes who tackle. So I'm actually very optimistic about the Eagles' chances of stopping this defense, this offense rather. Jaden Daniels, I know he's got a reputation as a runner. He's like actively bad at running. Like once he runs, he's a fast runner. In open space, he's good. But his vision's terrible. He's extremely hesitant, and he ends up losing yards on like half of his runs. Or like getting right back to the line of scrimmage and then doing nothing. So he's not a good runner. On defense, I think the Commanders just suck.
Yeah, no, the more we talk about this, we should just make this bet.
Yeah, no, this is a classic case of bad rookie quarterback with hype and a Heisman versus legitimately good team. What happens when the Commanders play legitimately good teams? They get their doors blown off. Birdwatcher, we're cawing this week. It's
a division game. It's going to be cold, and it's 3.5. But I don't really care. I think they're going to really beat up on them.
This might be a 2-touchdown game.
Yeah. All right, that's another bet. We quickly have 2 bets that we actually like.
Got another one coming.
Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings going to play the Seattle Seahawks. The Vikings are minus 3.
Yeah, and this is going to come down to, this will probably end up being like minus 2 because Geno Smith is going to play. I don't fucking care at all. The Packers just destroyed the Seahawks, and the Vikings are a better version of the Packers. Better defense, better passing offense, better coach. Last one, I don't know. Definitely way better defense, way better passing offense, way better defensive scheme. They're going to have Geno Smith in hell. The exotic blitzes against a terrible offensive line, like, holy shit. And the Seahawks are in even deeper of a hole. So, like, Charles Cross rules, awesome left tackle. I think Abe Lucas is going to be a good right tackle in this league. He's just coming off injury, so he's a little rusty. This Laumia guy they have starting at right guard, he's on that Nick Petit-Frere shit. He is translucent. He can pass through walls, and defensive linemen pass through him. Also, their center, this I think he's an undrafted rookie, Aluatimi, who was replacement level and therefore a godsend once Connor Williams decided to retire for no reason. He's hurt. and he's a replacement level player, which means whatever's behind him is worse. And if he has to play banged up, he's no longer replacement level. He's now bad. And then Laken Tomlinson is just in like the 15th year of being enough that you can't cry about him. That's bad. They're going to have to stop Jonathan Grenard, who rules, and Andrew Van Ginkel, who's just a chess piece, and Dallas Turner, who rules. Good luck. Geno Smith's banged up with a bad knee, and he's probably going to play anyway because Sam Howell looked so bad last week. Probably no Kenneth Murray. I love the Vikings here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do too. They're healthier. They're hot. Their offense is, I mean, Justin Jefferson is finally getting going. And that's the thing that I feel like has been part of the reason they've been a little scary lately.
Well, I mean, dude, the craziest thing to me is they're dominating all these teams. They're beating everybody. Sam Darnold has been playing badly lately. Like, he's throwing a lot of pickable balls. He's missing open receivers, and they're still putting up points. Like, if Darnold has a decent game, you're fucked. So, yeah, I'd like to see Josh Jobe try to cover Justin Jefferson.
Good luck.
Yep, so that's another bet. We're definitely taking Minnesota -2.5. It will be -2.5 by the time the contest line comes out.
Now, the one thing I will say is this game's in Seattle, correct?
Yes.
It is going to rain. It is definitely going to rain.
That's fine, because I think the Vikings have a better run game. And Sam Darnold has played in bad weather.
Yeah, I think that number, that really makes me want to get to 2.5, though.
Definitely.
Just because, like, 3 on a clear day, it's supposed to be, like, in the 40s, so it's not going to be freezing. But it's going to be cold. It's going to be shitty out there.
I mean, dude, 40-degree rain sucks the most ass. When I was in middle school, my first ever football game was in 38-degree rain, and I wanted to die. I was a fullback in 38-degree. I wanted to die so bad. And I made the mistake of wearing long sleeves to protect me from the rain. It just made my arms freeze.
Yep. Yeah,
I didn't know. I'd never played a football game before. And it was bad. This is September in Chicago, boys.
So I think if we can wait till we get it to 2.5.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if it's 3, though, we're going to have to take it. We need 5.
I would say I'm still okay with 3. It just gives me a lot more pause because then it turns into just a gross game where a field goal is a lot more important.
Yeah.
If it's clear out, I feel like Minnesota wins by 2 scores.
I agree. Don't worry. Either way, Geno Smith's going to give you a touchdown on defense just because he's hurt and mistake prone anyway. It'll be all right.
Yeah. I still like it just because Minnesota's more talented. They're hot.
It's a tier problem.
Yeah,
Minnesota's a top 5 team. The Seahawks are a top 10 or 12 team. It's not the same.
Yeah. I think that's all that needs to be said about it. It's a bet. Next up, we have the New England Patriots going to play the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are -14.
So that's a leg. I hope that Buffalo wins by 5 touchdowns. I hope things get so bad that the Crafts are forced to fire Gerard Mayo because Lord knows Drake May is never going to stand up for himself and do something proactive for his career.
Yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said about that one. Leg. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going to play the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are -1.
Some of you are probably thinking about betting this game, and some of you probably need lots and lots of psychiatric assistance.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a pick 'em, so I understand why it would be enticing, but this is horrible football, and no one should watch it, let alone bet on it.
Strong lean Jaguars, but fuck, I'm going to do this. I'm going to break it down anyway. What's going to end up happening is that the Raiders are going to end up blitzing a lot because that's what they've been doing lately to cover up for the fact that they just kind of suck on defense. They're going to blitz a lot. You know who doesn't handle that very well? Mac Jones. He's going to poop his diaper. He's going to throw the ball to the wrong team like 2-3 times. But at the end of the day, you got Travis Etienne, you got Tank Bigsby, you're going to move the ball. Whereas the Raiders have Sincere McCormick.
Great name.
Is it?
Yes.
I've never known one of you Irish to be sincere.
It's a different kind of Irish.
He's also a black guy.
No, you ain't never heard of Black Irish?
Oh, I have. I like those.
Easy. I do just want to point this out because it was very funny to me that you said anyone that's going to bet on this game or considering betting on this game needs some serious psychiatric help. And then maybe 8 seconds later, you were like, here, let's break down this game and give you an angle.
No, the worst part is while I was breaking it down, I was like, I know exactly how this game goes and I know who wins. Fuck, I should bet this game.
Hmm.
No, you can't bet a game full of Division Two players. It's just going to be chaos.
Hmm.
This game will turn on a special teams or defensive play that cannot be handicapped because of the ineptitude going both ways.
Absolutely. So let's move on and close out the 3 o'clock hour with the San Francisco 49ers going to play the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are -1.
The quarterback's letting down legendary caliber coaches bowl. Who will win? You decide. So both of these teams are identical. I mean, both of these teams have incredible head coaches who are amazing offensive minds and create excellent production despite terrible fucking quarterbacks. Both of these teams have pretty decent defenses. Both of these teams have very spotty offensive lines. Both of these teams run the ball well, no matter who's playing running back. Both of these teams have a couple weapons, but not a lot of depth. Both of these teams just last week had their hearts completely destroyed and probably have given up on their season because of it. Neither of these teams is making the playoffs, and they both learned that last week. So I honestly think that it's easier and more prudent to handicap the fucking Jaguars-Raiders game. Like, what do I do? I think McDaniel's a slightly better coach than Shanahan. I think that Purdy is a slightly better quarterback than Tua. Fuck the rest of it.
Yeah, I would. If you made me pick one, I'd go Miami just because they're home and it's only a point.
And they had fewer expectations that have let them down.
Yeah, I think the vibes are maybe a little bit better there because San Francisco has been on this like, oh yeah, we're the best team in the NFC for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And now they're terrible. Whereas the Dolphins, like, they're kind of like, oh, we got to fight for a playoff spot.
This is the funniest possible season to precede Brock Purdy getting paid $60 million as if he's not Jimmy Garoppolo too. He's gonna get paid. They're gonna pay him.
I still have to wait until I see it.
They're gonna pay him.
I don't know, but after this year, you still think he's going to be able to get 60?
I don't know about 60. The number they had discussed when this season was still alive was 65. Like a month ago, they were talking 65 for Brock Purdy. But remember, a month ago, he was PFF's #1 rated quarterback. Not a joke. That's a real thing that happened. He's still number 11. I swear to Christ, PFF just throws darts at the wall. I can tell you that I have confirmation that Purdy is absolutely still the centerpiece of the 49ers plans going forward.
Oh, no.
Again, maybe the number has dropped because they've realized like, hey, Brock, we're not winning a lot of games without all of the possible help. So maybe take a little bit less so we can keep helping you. But they are not deterred. They are undaunted in their pursuit of paying his stupid ass. So
that's miserable.
Yeah. It'll be really fun when Kyle Shanahan gets sent somewhere else that might have a good quarterback, though. And maybe it'll teach him to finally, after a decade and a half in this league, value the quarterback.
Maybe. I think he will have to get fired.
Dude, I think I kind of like the Dolphins, just because they're not as upset about their standing. Like, the 49ers look in the mirror and they want to puke because they thought they were going back to the Super Bowl. The Dolphins look in the mirror and they're like, I live in Miami. Life's pretty decent. I'm going to play some football.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, they basically just have to win. But I feel like it's kind of going into that maybe pile where we have a bunch of games that we don't really like. But
certainly.
So I think we lump it in with Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Indy and move on to Sunday night.
Please tell me it's good.
On Sunday night, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to play the Dallas Cowboys. The Bucs are -4.
All right, so it's not good, but it's something. Here's the issue. On one hand, the Cowboys' offensive line's not good, and the Bucs will get home. You may notice, because you watch Bucs games pretty consistently, their defense has been a lot better the last month, and it's because they've doubled their blitz rate. They blitz on 2/3 of plays.
That's insane.
But because they have Jamel Dean back, and then they got Zion McCollum on the other side, those are two legitimately good cornerbacks. And then, Tyke Smith's been pretty damn good in the slot. God forbid they have, what's his name? Junior Winfield.
Antoine Winfield Jr.?
Yep, that one.
I thought he was hurt.
He is, but God forbid they have him.
Oh.
When all four of those pieces are in place, that's a scary secondary. And as long as you can get home on the blitzes, they can hold up for at least 2 seconds in coverage. You're cooking with gas. Cooper Rush doesn't handle the blitz. Not well at all. But Cooper Rush does throw to the middle of the field well. The Cowboys do put receivers in the middle. They love slants, especially to CD. The reason I like the Bucs, and I bet them at -3 earlier in the week, is because Rico Dowdle has been like the key to their success the last 2 weeks on offense. Like they've put up some points, and it's because Rico Dowdle is averaging like 5 yards a carry. It's not going to happen against the Bucks. Rico Dowdle is 5'7". The Bucks have Vita Vea, Kalijah Kancey, Yaya Diaby. They're going to stop the run, and then Cooper Rush is going to panic against the rush and at least throw one ball up.
Yeah, like I agree that he's going to have an easier time because of the way the Bucks play defense, and that they're going to give him a lot of soft zones to throw into. But he's still a backup quarterback.
Oh, not a good one either.
Right. Who should not be playing more than 1 or 2 games a year.
Now, here's the other thing.
And he's going to get rushed and panicked, and you've got good corners. And realistically, they have one receiver.
Yep.
So I feel like you're going to give up some easy stuff, but the Bucks are going to create some turnovers and get a lot of sacks or negative plays.
It gets better for us because the Cowboys defense has come on a little bit lately. That's misrepresenting the situation. The Cowboys defense doesn't look terrible the last few weeks like it did earlier in the season.
Crazy what Micah Parsons does.
It's crazy what Micah Parsons does, and it does take a while to understand the Zimmer defense. Like, there's a lag. He's complicated and weird. But Micah Parsons is going to be about as neutralized as he ever could be because the Bucks get the ball out quick, they run the ball, and they'll run the ball at Micah Parsons, and he's not good against the run, and Tristan Wirfs. So you know where Micah Parsons is going to be every play because he's going to be on the right side avoiding Tristan Wirfs. And God forbid he goes up against Tristan Wirfs, you got a stalemate, you win, right? So you can just give help to Gadecki against Parsons. And if you take care of Micah Parsons, nobody else on that defensive line is a threat. They're not competent. The interior sucks, and notoriously the interior is where the Bucks have struggled on the offensive line more. Not much, but more. Finally, Mike Evans is going against, I guess, Deron Bland because Diggs is out. Bland's not good. Bland is slow. I think Evans is going to cook. We were mentioning how Jalen McMillan looks like he's getting better. He's going up against a washed Amani Aruarie, who I loved once upon a time, but even when I loved him, he was big and slow. Jalen McMillan is quick and fast. It's a bad matchup. The Cowboys have no linebackers with any range or speed whatsoever because DeMarvion Overshown is hurt. He's actually having a really good season.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bucks are going to fucking roll again, and I like them -4.
Yeah, I mean, obviously -4 is not a great number, but
terrible number.
I think it should be a higher number, and I like them at a touchdown, so let's roll.
Yeah, I mean, like this Bucks offense, and here's what I'm really going to do. In real life, Buccaneers team totals are just fucking made of gold. They're going to score at least 24 points every game. So I'm going to bet Buccaneers team total over. We can't do that for this podcast, but that's the play. Yeah, next game.
Next game. On to Monday night. We have the New Orleans Saints going to play the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are -14.5.
Hey guys, you don't have to, I don't know. The 23rd is like not even a special day. Like
you can just do all your last minute shopping.
Yeah, wrap your presents. This is not football. Okay, so it actually turned out better than I thought. We've got 4 bets. We've got LA, Philly, Minnesota, and Tampa. We're down to Pittsburgh +6, Miami -1, or the Jaguars +1.
You don't like Indy 3.5, Kansas City 3.5.
No, because Kansas City's not going to win by margin. Their offense is too bad.
That's fair. Probably my favorite is Pittsburgh +6, but I could be convinced because I don't love it. Because I do see the world where Pittsburgh continues to fall. Pickens doesn't play, and the Ravens have one of those explosive statement regular season games. They even the series with Pittsburgh on the year, but I still just feel like at +6 in a division game, it's going to be cold. The Steelers might get Pickens back. Who knows?
They won't.
And Jacksonville versus in Vegas just feels like a total coin flip. And I mean, Miami -1 is enticing just because it feels like they're in a better position. And I do think they're more talented right now just because of the number of injuries the 49ers have had where they don't really have anyone on the offense anymore.
I completely agree. It's tough because, like...
It's just that to bet on Miami, you have to bet on Tua.
There are 2 teams that literally just had their hearts broken and realized their season is over. It's really hard to handicap that kind of game. It's almost one of those games where, like, you want to bet on the team with more to prove, like less good starters, you know?
Yeah, maybe we should take Pittsburgh so we have at least one underdog this week,
Oh, fuck that.
especially.
Give me the Chargers.
We just wrap all the way back around on the Chargers
Yeah.
with the coward that is Harbaugh and the man without a lower half, Justin Herbert.
Yeah. If you're going to ask me, do I want to bet on two of the worst quarterbacks who just had their hearts broken? Or do I want to bet on the corpse of Russell Wilson throwing deep to the corpse of Mike Williams? Or do I want to bet on whatever the fuck you call Jaguars versus Raiders? Or do I want to bet on the third best quarterback in the NFL against both fucking Knicks? I take Justin Herbert. I could give a fuck. I take Justin Herbert with half a leg versus Bo Nix. If Jim Harbaugh can just only shit his pants a little bit, I know how this game ends. The question is, can he not shit his pants to his ankles?
I don't know, man. That's why I would probably take Pittsburgh +6, but I don't really like any of them. So if you want to do Chargers -2.5, I'm in.
Philly is my best bet. I fucking guess. No, it's Minnesota. It's Minnesota.
I mean, I feel like this is a week where we do two unit plays, a 3-unit play, or we could just do 3 2-units, like 3 best bets, and then.
Honestly, I'm more of the mind that this is a week where we bet a half unit every play because I don't fucking feel any of this shit.
No, that's fair. I mean, I like the 3. I like the Rams over the Jets at -3. I like Philly over Washington 3.5, and Minnesota over Seattle at -3. Tampa Bay always scares me because it's Todd Bowles and it's a weird number. And then whatever the hell our 5th pick is, I don't really want to bet on. But those other 3, I mean, 2 units on the best bet.
Well, we should absolutely hit a teaser of Atlanta -2.5 and Detroit money line, which will be at -120, and we should hit that bitch for 2.
Okay. So do you want to do 2 units for the best bet, or are you saying 1 unit and then half units on everything?
No, 1 unit LA. I actually like the LA bet. 1 unit Philly. I actually like that bet. Tampa -4. I actually kind of fucking like that bet. And San Diego -1. I don't love it, but I have to make it. You know what? This actually isn't that bad of a slate.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, like there are 3 legitimate games that I like. There's a 4th that I feel pretty good about, and then 1, fuck it.
Yeah. And then I love the fucking teaser. So you know what? This ended up being a pretty decent slate.
We have to, what are the units that we're betting?
1 LA, 1 Philly, 2 Minnesota, 1 Tampa, 1 Chargers, 2 on the teaser.
Okay, that's fine with me.
And we need the Canucks in overtime.
Pull it up.
Yeah, that Minnesota-Florida game stopped being competitive quick.
Yeah, I turned it off when it went to 4-1.
Ducks and Jets are going to OT, it looks like, even. Alex, we should end this podcast so that I can do that thing I do with overtime hockey.
Live bet?
Yep.
Nice.
All right, let's try to make it 9 in a row, even though this week fucking sucks. And next week, potting might get weird next week. We might have to record like super early, like Saturday, just because holiday travel and shit. There's also the possibility that I will just like record in my car on my phone and throw like a 10-minute pod up with our picks, but we'll figure it out. As we go for a 9th straight winning week, in this terrible card in what is left of this terrible league, you better tail, or else you're probably going to fail at this rate. But either way, please, for the love of God, just bet on football games. Asta.